Coming at you live from the 405. It's the 5 on the 4 podcast, featuring 5 unironically unique voices in the podcast game of music, sports, and the culture.
Y'all, welcome to another episode from the 5 from the 4. Let me introduce everybody, starting from my left to my right.
I'm on.
It's Aurelius.
Tab McD. And the finisher from the right to the left, because we went backwards.
He said my left, so it makes sense.
It is I, Taylor.
And your host, Tank Love. Here we go from another episode from the 5 from the 4. We're going to take a little deeper dive into each of us, how we feeling right now, and just, ask some questions that everybody, they might sit on them, just think about them, keep them to themselves, and we're just going to, to dive a little deeper and unpack some things, how we're feeling and how life is going for all of us right now.
So unpack that shit, Tank.
Yep.
Unpacking the suitcase.
Let's do it.
Well, this is my little segment. We're going to call this a mental health minute. We're all going to go around, starting with myself, and just go to my right and just for a minute, up to a minute, if it's not that long, but up to a minute of just something you did this week that to yourself gave you a good mental break. It could range from anything, any kind of activity, a long time, just something you did that made you be like, you know what, that gave me the little bit of a reset I needed to get through.
It's Tuesday.
Facts, it is Tuesday.
Going back to last week. Go back to last week.
This week.
Honestly,
I'm still stressed.
Yeah.
I will definitely give y'all as long a window as you need. Where you're like, you know what, I did this 3 weeks ago and it helped me to get me to today. But we're just here to make sure we're talking about it. So for myself, I know specifically on Thursday was Thanksgiving. So I'm not the biggest, as all 4 of these niggas can attest to. I'm a very homebody person, and sometimes I don't even realize that I am making myself a little sad or a little more just not happy in general because I'm just staying to myself, right? And that's not okay. Humans are made for interaction, and being around my family, just people that love me, that aren't gonna judge me, they're just here to see me smile. That to me was a very big break I needed, and it was something I don't normally do, and it's getting me back outside, as the kids say. Wow, I said that. Man, I'm not that old, I promise.
He is.
But it's getting me back outside and just being around people. 10 to heaven.
Love to hear it, Taylor.
Appreciate you sharing.
Round of applause. Hello.
For myself,
That was 27 seconds.
hello. I started a little late.
Probably 30 seconds later.
Okay.
You're right at a minute. It's good.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to last week too. I'll say, at first I didn't really think that I was gonna have a great Thanksgiving. And my Thanksgiving still wasn't just the best necessarily, but I was with all of my family, which we haven't all really sat together for a while. So like that was definitely pretty refreshing, regardless of how tense it was. Refreshing nonetheless. And so that's what I'll say for me. That was good.
Here comes my minute.
Yeah.
Last Monday and every day since then, I started a 75-day challenge. You may have heard of 75 hard.
Okay.
I started 75 medium. There's 75 hard, there's 75 soft. I'm doing 75 medium because I make my own rules.
There you go.
Because 75 hard, like 2 workouts are required, which I don't got the time for that, 1, and 2, one of them has to be outside. And it's November in Oklahoma, and there's going to be some times where like I'm just simply not going to work out outside. So I started that, but it's been real good. 1, to just make myself get in the gym every single day, even if I'm just walking on the treadmill or doing some yoga or whatever. But also with the 75 soft challenge, it really incorporates like healthy habits. So the diet doesn't really matter as much as long as you are sticking to it. but it also encourages you to do things for your mental health. So I've been meditating every day and been journaling twice a week since last Monday. Just spending some time reflecting and things like that. So looking forward to, and then there's also like you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, which helps me, to just do that sort of reading outside of my work and school stuff from the past, which has been nice because I've been able to dive into a book that I wouldn't otherwise have time to read. And so looking forward to the challenge. It'll definitely be hard. One piece of the challenge is also limiting alcohol. 75 hard is no alcohol. 75 soft is just like whatever. So 75 medium is like only drink alcohol on special occasions, right? Special occasions. So the podcast is a special occasion, but I will not be doing this every week. Hold me to that shit, please.
We got you.
Hold me to it. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Talk to me.
Appreciate you for sharing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, life has been kind of difficult. I'm kind of at this nexus between, the present and what do I do next. And so, I really want to go to law school, and so that's kind of been my focus. But like, I'm also trying to figure out like how to kind of stay involved in my organization with Aurelius and Tevin. So it's been bringing me down these last few weeks. But I've been talking to my queen about it, and then just kind of like really leaning on y'all. And so last week, Tevin and Aurelius invited me to the Raw Wave concert. So you guys will get a little bit more of that later, and it just like made my day. Straight out, like it made my weeks honestly, made my 2023, because it was just, I really needed that. And out of nowhere, Tevin was like, hey, you come with us to Rod Wave concert. So I was like, damn, I was really excited about that. Rod Wave is actually number 5 on my Apple Music replay. I don't know why it's not.
I haven't even let them out.
We gotta check that out. Maybe we'll do that at the very end or something like that too. But it was just really cool to spend time with them, and y'all my niggas for real. So I love y'all for sure.
I love you. Last but not least, Big Terrell Tizzy Tank. I don't know where that came from.
Tizzy, all right.
Tizzy teed up.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Sure.
Talk to me.
Nah, man, honestly, for me, it was this last week, Thanksgiving, just that whole week was just like, life was going real fast for me. Everything was just, it was flying. And I was going, making it happen there and there, and it was just like, it was a great reset. Got to take a pause from work, take a pause from coaching and football stuff, and like just a great reset to gather, regroup my thoughts and just everything around. Like, okay, get this or get that, fix this, fix that. This is gonna line up to that. This is gonna lead up to that, and not get lost in just the run of every day.
That's word.
And it's just like,
Cause you were at school about what, like 6:30, 6:45 for workouts? Every morning?
You was getting up. Yeah.
And you were getting out of school at like 4 or 5 p.m. After practice?
Like 7:30, 8.
So you're not getting home. So you're not getting home till like 8:39.
Yeah.
Man, so that's just being awake. And so what time are you waking up?
Waking up at about 5.
Man, so that's awake from 5 a.m. and you're not getting home till 9 p.m. That's like a 19-hour day.
Yeah.
At 4 or 5 days a week. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So it's good to just kind of sit around and just get to let your brain breathe for a second.
Just get to it was a good reset. Did some things I never really done. Walked the golf course with Tevin.
Oh,
his dad.
And that was
Hey.
I was
that was
thinking,
smooth. Like that whole morning was just like the end of the week really capped everything. The golf trip, going there after going to alumni event at our high school, and then doing that, then going there, then having Thanksgiving, then on the next day going to Rod Wave concert. It's really great.
Alumni event at our high.
Why
Yeah,
not?
Thanksgiving practice.
every Thanksgiving if they're in the playoffs, big dog. It's been a tradition for
My bad.
years.
I wasn't big time enough in the football program.
You practiced in 2 of them.
On to the next segment.
Sorry.
Dead.
That was awesome.
Pointing in the mud, my boy.
Anyways, That was awesome.
That was our mental health minute. Let us know if you like that. If you want that to be a weekly thing, a monthly thing, or just let us know, and we'll gladly accommodate that to y'all. If y'all want to hear more about how we're taking our mental journey, especially with the 75 medium challenge, and whatever y'all are doing, let us know. Comment. Let us know how y'all are taking a minute a day or an hour, whatever, just to keep yourselves centered in whatever you got going on your fabulous journeys.
All right, y'all. So we're on to our next segment. It's going to be mental health in sports, just kind of carrying on with that theme of mental health. As we know, we all love to cherish our fabled heroes in sports, you know, whether that is the LeBron sexuals and LeBron, whether that is the Jordan fights,
Shout out.
and Taylor's old ass.
That's crazy. That's a stray.
It wasn't a straight.
It's a shot.
It's all love.
That was crazy. I ain't gonna
It's
lie.
all love.
It was a worthy shot though.
I've never actually made fun of your age, bro. I think of you as a
so
wise.
now
man.
we
It just it flowed organically and it worked well.
I'm
Keep
sorry.
going.
Okay. Anyways, we got the Jordan fights, we got the LeBron sexuals, we got the James Harden apologists.
That's
And
crazy.
so,
Wow.
and we know exactly.
James Harden apologies.
So with all that to
That's
say,
why I believe
there's
it.
a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in sports, and so we wanted to recognize that today and have kind of a discussion regarding that. And so, the first thing, Taylor, if you want to take that away, you know, regarding Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan in that 2018 NBA season.
Yes. So, the dates. November 5th.
Set the scene, brother.
Cleveland Cavaliers, Atlanta Hawks. Cleveland Cavaliers are in the midst of LeBron's second return. They are, at this point, a season removed from not only winning the first championship in a major sport in Cleveland over 50 years, in 2016 at this time, but they came back from a 3-1 deficit. So that was the highest of highs you can achieve in this sport, something no team had ever done before.
Yeah.
This is a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
In less than 48 months, less than 2 years, this is the 10th game of the second season. So we're really just one season removed, honestly. You're 10 games in. Kevin Love is playing the Atlanta Hawks on November 5th, Tuesday evening, just a game. And he just said it came out of nowhere. And for someone who is at the pinnacle of what they worked all their life to achieve, this man was grinding probably since he was 7, 8 years old, playing this game, turning into a passion, turning into a love, and also turning into a career. Set his family up, set himself up for generations to come. And depression can still get to someone like that. Lets you know how strong this is. This is a man who we watch, like there's the famous picture is LeBron crying, hugging Kevin Love, man, because like that's his dog. They went through something together. You're seeing a man in front of the world, in front of millions, displaying such a happy emotion. You see it with your eyes. You see him being happy as can be that he's crying tears of joy, and depression still got to that guy. That's how serious this is. And having male role models that are world champions that are going to be seen by so many people, going to be seen by so many young men that are, also people that are going through that transition of being a teenager, but you're not a teenager because you're in the gym 8 hours a day, then you're at AAU for the next 4 hours, and then you got to go home and do some homework or something, you go home. You're not being a kid, you're already a professional. So they're already getting themselves compartmentalized to just put stuff to the side to get the job done. And that stuff you're putting to the side is your mental health. And Kevin Love is playing in the middle of a game. He starts the game off 1 for 2, misses both his free throws, and there's 2 rebounds. And he knew by halftime, he's like, I'm just not in my rhythm. I was winded 3 minutes into the game. I usually play 9 minutes straight, get a 3-minute break, and then I come back in. I'm winded 2.5 minutes like it's midway through the third quarter. That's when he said, I knew something was up. I get to halftime, I'm just having a terrible game by my standards. I have 2 rebounds. That hasn't happened since my second year in the league. I'm in year 9 now. Something's up. Comes back out for the third quarter. 10 minutes left in the third quarter. So that's only 2 minutes off the clock. has a timeout, and he looks at Ty Lue, and Ty Lue is telling him a defensive set, and he said, I'm not even here. I can't hear him, can't hear the crowd, can't hear myself. You are going down the roller coaster, that whooshing in your ears, he said. And he said he couldn't hear anything. He gets on the court, and he just freezes. He said, I physically cannot go back out here. He has a full-blown panic attack in an arena full of thousands of people. Depression can get to anyone. And this is a great example to me, because I was about 23 when this came out. And it let me know that it let me know that it is okay to show that you're not okay. And you hear that cliche all the time. You always hear that, oh, it's okay to show emotions. This isn't how it used to be a man. This is different times to be a man now. Mind you, this is 2016, 2017, where it's finally okay to talk about mental health a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be a man and talk about your feelings. Men have feelings too, all of that. And it still didn't really feel it until the guys we're looking up to are showing the stuff that we're suffering from. And it's like, man, he's just like me. When all this time I thought it was just a me thing, it's not just a you thing, it's an everybody thing. Mm-hmm. And that opened up discussions to lead to stuff like this. Homeboys sitting around asking about your mental health. DeMar DeRozan is also another guy, coincidentally same season, 2018 season. Mm. He had a tweet about, he said depression gets the best of me. This depression got the best of me, ... At 5 a.m., February 17th, 2018, during the All-Star break. And, like, you would think that a guy who's on his All-Star break, so he's chilling at home, being around the people he loves the most, and it was in that moment where them seedy little fingers, man, I don't know how, another way to put it, but them seedy little fingers of depression, like vines through a brick wall at an old castle, they just intertwine and creep and get into your mind and put that doubt and that hesitation and that fabrication of how this could go bad, how this could go wrong, so I'm not. And a guy who is there are 24 people on this earth that have scored more points than DeMar DeRozan. Like, this man is highly successful in his profession. He's going to, barring injury, he's a really good chance to retire a top 20, like 19 scorer all time. That is incredibly impressive. That's a Hall of Fame NBA player, and depression can still get to him. A man who's grown up watching his homies get gunned down for gang violence, which is just senseless stuff at the end of the day, because it's just, that's another discussion for another time, but he's watched family members, he's watched best friends he's grown up with that didn't get to see him celebrate his success because their life was taken from him too soon. And he's talked about having survivor's remorse, that survivor's guilt, like, how am I so much more different than my homie? That he deserved that and I deserve this. Why? Why do I deserve this? And that's giving him doubt and second guessing. And there's 24 people have scored more points than you, man. You don't need to second guess anything. You are very, 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 very good at what you do. And even he has got a second guess. So it's like, those two people were eye-opening to me, that it does not matter how far up the ladder of this success you get, depression can get to anyone with any amount of success. And I feel like that's very important to get us to start talking to lower, more realistic tiers of successful people in their lives. Like your dad, your uncle, your cousin that's, he doesn't have to have a great job, but he's got a job. He's got a car. Check on him. Check on your older male relatives. Make sure they're doing okay. They might be retired now and not know what to do. They're used to doing stuff for 30, 40 years. Now they got just free time all day. They might be sitting here like, I don't know what to do with myself. Do I have purpose? What am I doing? I've got personal conversations with my family members about that. So it's like, just make sure you check on people, because you never know. Like, not my favorite, but a case I like to talk about, or examples, Robin Williams, man. Super funny actor. He committed suicide because he wasn't happy. So, like, anything can be a front. You got to really talk to him to get to know what's behind all this. Make sure what they're putting on the outside is what they're feeling on the inside, because you never know, man. feel free if y'all got anything y'all want to put in on that about how that might have made you feel, or if this is your first time really hearing about it in depth, how it makes you feel now, knowing that, like, because I know y'all are LeBron fans, and, like, so y'all follow that Cavs team, whether it was just for LeBron or y'all kind of got deep with it, but, like, Kevin Love was the last to leave Cleveland. He didn't leave Cleveland until, like, 3 seasons ago. So he's in the trenches, just, him and LeBron probably 10 years plus in Cleveland. So, like, that's LeBron's dog, man. And I'm sure these conversations that, like, just put feelings on y'all. So if y'all got anything to contribute, we would love to hear. Talk to me. Shout out LA Knight.
I felt like you dropped the mic.
Like,
Yeah, no, that was.
I don't
That was
like
a
you
lot.
hit on what I can do.
I can think of some like other like
just whatever y'all feel,
One-
just talk about it.
an example that was kind of like eye opening to me, like in the midst of like the kind of the aftermath of like all these like these high profile athletes opening up about like, nah, I'm really dealing with this, and like I still got to put this front on and do this interview, do this, do all of these showings, face greetings, signings, all these things I really don't want to do, and still come out and perform at a high level. And to hear like it touched Mike Tyson to where in the aftermath of his career, like he's just been chilling for over the last what 25 years basically.
Since like 02.
Yeah,
That was his last fight.
20 years. So like on his podcast, you see Mike Tyson just opening up and it really dissected himself as he putting up this big. He was this decorated warrior, and he had to go fight, and he putting up the shield. But like the fuel for all of it was he think he a punk because he can't drop his what's the name. He can't drop he can't drop his own shield internally, and it's like hearing him like just seeing that's the world champ. He depicted on all these
Like,
shows.
everybody's scared of Mike
Like
Tyson.
you know he's that, and you seeing him on his own podcast. He's crying as he's giving these, and it's like it's that seeing it on the backside that it's like no, it's really okay. Like it's anybody can. It happens to all of us. We all got something to deal with, and no matter the level or the size of the complex, it's still you gotta. It's something that you just have to overcome. And seeing those examples of like, nah, he did it. He made it through.
Yes, he did.
And now you can maybe see it that it's like, oh no, maybe this athlete isn't there or this person just isn't there yet. But you can see that it's like, something might be weighing on him. That's where that's like coming from. It's like, I don't know. I really like that one. It touched me in a different way when I'm seeing like, dang, that's Mike Tyson. He just
So
not
he's
caring.
good.
Like, he just being him.
So it's good to see the people you look up to show how relatable they are.
Yeah. Another one, Shawn Michaels in the WWE.
Bro, you ain't lying, man.
Like,
So many of them we could talk about.
yeah.
Shout out CM Punk. You
So-
can come on the podcast if you want. I marked when you came back.
So, I mean, the first thing I thought about, Taylor, when you gave, the context behind this segment, was like Naomi Osaka.
I just
I
looked
don't
that
know.
one up.
I don't know if y'all remember that, but she, she refused to play at some of the bigger tournaments just because she said, like, she didn't give a reason.
Yeah, it was the French Open.
Yeah, it was the French Open. She didn't give a reason. Everybody was like, oh, she's this, she's that, da-da-da-da-da. And then she came out and said, I don't need to explain my mental health to y'all. I don't feel like playing. I'm not in the headspace to do that. And now granted, this is just kind of one of those sad things where even kind of like media, including the black media, like the folks that we really do think would be supporting her in those times, we're still dogging her.
You ain't lying, man.
And she was at the top of the world. She's at the top of the world. Serena just came back from pregnancy, so like she's from maternity leave, excuse me. And so she's starting her rise to the top, and she's going through an uphill battle. I also want to talk about folks like that as well.
And Simone Biles, too.
And Simone Biles, that's another one too.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah.
And hers is because they
is
forced
even
her.
crazier. Yeah.
And God,
I mean, yeah, she was dealing with grief and.
And so it's just like, I don't, especially these black women, man, because they're not necessarily only dealing with just the mental health of whatever is going on in their personal lives, but also literally just the identity of being a black woman. And so,
And they all bounce back too. They're all back in their sports, killing it.
Miss Richardson literally out there. She's number 1 in the world.
Records.
Naomi Osaka, hasn't necessarily stepped on to the
She
court
announced
again
she's coming back for 2024, right?
because she just had her kid.
She had a baby.
She just had her kid with the rapper
Cordae.
Cordae.
Shout out Cordae.
That's good stuff. Serena Williams obviously retired.
Yeah.
But
Is
they're
Simone
still
coming
there.
back?
Yeah, Simone's back for this.
Yeah, she's been back, right?
She's been back, but I think she's
Yeah,
qualified. She's been
Just
qualified.
recently, she did another crazy flip, so she back.
Yeah, so she's back. It's so
She
beautiful to
got
see
past
that.
the-
Like,
They called it something specific in gymnastics, like
That's
where
true.
you have specific like mental hurdle, where like you literally feel like you cannot make the flip, and it's extremely dangerous because in that sport where you're literally up in the air, flipping 7 times in a row, like one bad turn, that's your neck, that's your life. Like literally, it can be fatal, you know. So, and I can't remember what they called it. It was during the Olympics, but yeah, with her and I think it was the spins or the runs or something. But it's like literally where like it may not be the one, sorry. But it was something like relatable, like for real. But like other gymnasts were like, yeah, when you get that, like you need to bow out, like you need to, because it can be dangerous, like you can kill yourself. So yeah, that was real for sure. And Tank, what you were talking about, and Taylor, the examples you brought up, it just made me think about like the shield that athletes put on to perform and to engage in the sport that they're engaging in. And that shield has to be, for men specifically, like a very masculine one, but also for people in women's sports, like you are putting on a shield of like, I'm the best, like I'm out here to dominate, I'm out here to win, you know? There's not a lot of room for emotions, there's not a lot of room for vulnerabilities, right? And so I feel like that, yeah, like what the conversation we're having is like opening that lane. Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, all these people we're talking about have like opened that lane that like, yeah, we are the best athletes in the world, but we are also human beings. Like we also feel, we also have emotions, you know? And that also like, and I think what you're saying, like if Mike Tyson got emotions, then everyday folks like us, like 11-year-old boys, girls, non-binary folks, like they also got emotions, you know? Like they got to feel that and like express it and not feel like we have to hold it in, you know? And I feel like those are really, really important lessons that like all of this sort of allows to come out. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation.
So I know we're kind of coming towards the end of the segment, but I wanted to make sure that we got to talk about kind of y'all's experiences specifically, since we've just kind of been talking about Mental Health Minute. You know, we've been talking about us as athletes, but you know, some of y'all are
Big dog athletes in this
I
pod.
ain't trying to say it, but
They have
you know,
hardware.
we've got college athletes on this pod, we've got big time high school athletes, and then we've got and then we've got Tower Boys. And so I wanted to make sure.
Hey, we talk about emotions and mental health, so you're not going down to yourself like that.
you played.
How you know I'm talking about myself?
You are, because I know, because he just texted him.
You had the most picks on the
Talk about
You
it.
got all of y'all got hardware. All y'all got hardware. All y'all can put something on a finger. That's all
It's
that
funny
matters.
because Tevin chucked up on it because he thought you was talking about him, even though with the collegiate athletes, he was talking about both of them.
No,
Yeah, I was talking about the tank.
No.
He thought you was
Tevin.
talking shit that he
No.
was just a high school star. Or
I
whatever.
just, it was
You
just
literally
like,
went to
no,
a
but
Division
it was,
One college.
no, I get it. It was just, I wasn't ready
No, you
for
choked up.
anybody
You
to
thought he was
say
talking
high
shit.
school. I wasn't ready for you to say just, whatever you said towards high school, I just wasn't ready for it. It caught me off guard.
Turn it over to you, Tevin. Answer the question.
So yeah, y'all. The next thing I kind of wanted to do to end this segment is talking about just maybe some of our experiences. You know, just kind of continuing on with this idea of the Mental Health Minute from Taylor. Like, what are some experiences where perhaps you know, had a run-in with mental health? You know, while either participating in sports, maybe as a repercussion of playing sports, maybe expectations, you know, what have you. Like, what do y'all think? We've got tons of experience in here, whether it's, you know, middle school athletes or high school athletes.
Shout out high school sports.
You know, high school superstars, actually. Right.
These niggas.
Oklahoma superstars. And then we've got college athletes as well.
They
right?
got caught. They played in college.
And so, you know. But then also colleges with just different expectations than any other college, right? In the country. Like, we're not talking about, like, when you're at Air Force, you're at a Division I college, but you're also in the military. So,
U.S. military too.
with that said, man,
This ain't
like,
Finland.
this ain't Finland.
Niggas is crazy. In the U.S.
So, anyways, what are y'all thoughts on that?
Tank, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll say for me, that was kind of a reoccurring like battle was like a true test of patience. Like even just going from, it started as early as 8th grade, going from 8th grade to 9th grade, where it was just like thinking that it would be a seamless transition, and finally getting to step onto the varsity field in that environment, growing up around it, and getting there, and it was just like, it was the strongest, like a real, like one of my first battles, like, dang, this is really beyond me, this is out of my controls, and I can't figure out why, like, everything was aligned for this to make sense and just be what it is, and then to, you know, finally overcome that, and things work out in a blessed way, and the same thing that happened from my freshman year or senior year of high school to my freshman year of college. The exact same situation. It's just like, dang, I've got to sit out a whole another year and a half. Like, why? And it made me really think of, like, I can say in college because it happened twice in the 3-year stretch. It was like play or had to wait, then finally got a new situation, played, but was looking very. It was a completely different way than what I thought it would be. And that was a whole nother test in how I appreciated the game, the other things I appreciated outside of the game, being in a different environment. I'm over here, I'm sitting at practice one day, I'm like, man, bro, like, I ain't even touched the ball 10 times this season, but I'm sitting there at practice and he talking about I can't even go run the ball to give a look. Like, come on,
That's
bro.
crazy.
What is you talking about? But I'm like, all right, you know what? I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm out in California. I'm sitting at practice right now, and I'm looking at the mountain range. Beautiful picture behind me.
Heck yeah, dude.
And it's like finding those different things that helped overcome that, and just that was my big thing.
What was it, Tank? Like, what was the feeling during those times of breaks where you had to be away from football for things that were out of your control? Like, what was the feeling? What was the emotions?
It was it was like an internal like loneliness. Where it was like, cause it was not to use shield, but it was more of it was like a cloak. To where it was just, I'm walking around, I have to carry this assumed image of like, no, it's all butterflies, you going out there, you going crazy, you doing this, and, and it was a battle of like, dang, y'all really thinking this? I'm over there like, bro, I'm stressing, bro. I ain't got no offer. I ain't even get the ball last season. Like,
Where is your mind, Tay? Let's talk about mental health. Dang.
Bring it back.
But it was. I definitely felt like it was like a sense of loneliness because I didn't know how to open up about that, and it was about like how would I bring it up? How was it not coming off as, oh, he did it this way, and it's like, I don't know. That was part of it, and then just it was a lot of frustration and releasing or figuring out where is this, like, okay, I'm frustrated in this, but this is leading to me being angry at these things, and it's like it was
outside
just,
of football.
Yeah, and it was just leveling it, and I'm like, dang, I'm questioning, do I even care about the game? And then I'm looking at the game differently because it's like I get to. That's a part of that is digging into those emotions and using them as tools, and not being able to in that pattern, in that rhythm of being able to release it at that time. Now, when it's springtime, it's like, okay, I'm fully off of that and all of that. But going through it, it was completely flipped where it's like, dang, I'm in the fall, I'm over here. This is usually the peak of my year is that them last 6 months. Like, oh yeah, it's going up. I'm getting the ball. I'm finna go crazy. Everything finna be all shining the stars. And then to get there, and it's like, dang, I'm sitting in a dark room. I'm mad. I'm in California. I don't even want to go out. I ain't play.
Wow.
I ain't do nothing. Like, I don't want to go to Boulevard. I don't want,
Yeah.
just sitting there. I just want to play NCAA.
Yeah.
Like, and then, but then flip it to where the spring was like, no, I have to. This is where I gotta go get everything that I left on the ground. It's making up ground now. And it was for the betterment of like, for athletes, I think they should look at it as they should take pride in it and really embrace it. And it helped me on the back end of it. It was like, no, I was half doing everything really. Like I was taking a step off, but then it's like, nah, they out here, we fighting for the same offers. And are they out here at this time? Are they working hard in the spring, or are they taking it off because they ball? Or is it that one guy that you see those little examples going through junior college where it's like, oh no, he done got knocked down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. He done been there and came back and then had to go back. And it's that redirection of like, nah, he working that way. It's nonstop consistency and just learning patience and overcoming and redirecting those frustrations, those angers, whatever it may be, and turning it into what makes consistency a new level of consistency. I think that's for me at least, that was my process and how I dealt with it, and it impacted my whole life.
So was there like a specific moment, and this is kind of for like, I think any athlete, maybe any person deals with, maybe some type of situation similar to you, right? But this is unique to you, man. Football is everything to you. It's been everything to you. But was there a specific moment where you're like, man, like I either need to process some of this shit or I need to find an outlet? Because like, were you just holding it in this entire time? You know what I mean? Or like, was there a specific moment where you like, I can
honestly say that day when I made the decision to leave and go to California, I was putting everything aside, just trying to make it work. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna grind it out, and
make it work.
And just I'm gonna put all of me aside. I'm gonna figure out me. I'm gonna get this right. You doubt my body? Well, I'm in control of my body, and
wow.
Getting over that. And then I was like, you know what? No, it ain't me. They tripping. I'm gonna go see if it really is me. It's not gonna work out here. And it did work out, but it didn't work out in the way I saw it at first.
Wow.
And I remember that during that season, me and that offensive coordinator is going back and forth the whole year. We really bashing heads. And
it's in Cali?
Yeah. And I remember he told me, it's like, you can't go in on scout team. You not a running back, da da da. I said, bro, who is you? You know what?
Yeah, who is you?
I looked over at the head coach. I went and took a knee and just sat down the rest of practice. He said, well, why you not coming in? He said, I wasn't a running back coach. I can't give you a look. Apparently, I'm not good. So I sat down that day and I decided, I'm not going to be mad. The season what it is. I'm not calling the plays and I'm not controlling my playing time. But I'm in California. I'm not going to waste this experience because every trip I had growing up, I was practicing. Everybody else is getting the trip, but I'm practicing. We got to go to this event and then it's curfew.
Wow.
And that was like between California, playing in California, playing in Colorado. It was just, by the time I got to Colorado, being out of JUCO and overcoming things, everything was like, that was the first time in a while where it was like, okay, no, I'm starting off, say my junior year of high school. I'm starting off at that level of comfort and like, okay, now I know what the foundation is. I got to build from here.
Okay.
And I was more mature in the way that I like those outlets of taking a hike, going to the point and just sitting there for hours on end, or just finding those different times because there's a bunch of things around the campus, and just in those places that we don't have growing up in Oklahoma, to where it's like, now I'm in the mountains, I can go up here, I can go to the lodge, I can go snowboarding, we can go to the hot springs.
Snowboarding is a great visual.
But like, it was just a whole bunch of things, trying new things, and like,
Yeah.
moving, just, it really opened up like, nah, there's more to it than just battling the whole time.
Damn.
You brought up something that like made me think about something, like an element that we haven't, when we've gotten into with these bigger athletes, that we haven't really talked about, that's like always there, that affects athletes' mental health, and it's like when you're playing really well, or you're the star of the show, or you getting all these touchdowns, or yards, or points in basketball, whatever it is, all of these aces in tennis, the highs are really fucking high.
Yeah.
But also the lows are really fucking low in sports. Like, you don't win all the time, you know?
Mm-mm.
But growing up, middle school, high school, for you, like, and I'm not, like, niggas might say I'm fucking riding shit, but I want to set the fucking stage for, like who Tank really was in Oklahoma and, like, growing up for real.
Yeah.
We went to middle school with Tank, ICMS. Tank's name is Terrell, y'all.
His name ain't Tank.
We call Tank for a reason, and it's because of football, for real. And it's because, and I mean, I'm just gonna go there because I'm already fucking caping for this nigga. This nigga Tank was really built like a grown ass nigga in middle school. Like, we was fucking, how old are you in middle school? 12, 13, 14 maybe, I don't know.
11,
12,
yeah.
13, 14.
Like, we, like, niggas, like, a lot of us boys had not gone through puberty yet. Tank was already, like, fucking built for real.
Had a beard.
Like, was already, like, one of the biggest things with athleticism that I feel like we don't really get into a lot is the coordination piece of it. Tank was already deeply fucking coordinated in middle school, right?
Yeah.
Tank used to dominate the middle school game like no other. And so I just, like, I say all of that just to say, like, he was Tank, like, no, like, you, if you trying to tackle him, you're going to bounce off like a little feather. Like, that's what it was in middle school. He then goes to high school, and we had to sit out for bullshit rules or whatever. But then immediately, like, starting at a school that is used to winning, a Heritage Hall, and, like, is immediately that guy. So, like, you are on top of the game for all those years, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get to college, and it's a whole different experience. Like, I think your story speaks to, like, all of those sort of dips, valleys, but also the highs of, like, when you're very successful and when you tie so much of your identity to your sport, like, how success or lack thereof can affect your mental health in such a deep way. And, like, that journey kind of shows that. And so I think, like, that, like, I don't think Kevin Love really talked about that at DeMar DeRozan, but I'm sure that impacted it of, like, you know, when you having a great game, you could be depressed as hell, but if you drop 40 and 15, you know what I'm saying, everybody screaming your name, like, you going to feel like you at the top of the world, even if internally you going through it, you know? And so I feel like sports do that shit, but then at some point, you get out of it. And I think a lot of, like, retired athletes talk about that. Like, I feel lost. Tom Brady's talked about it. Kobe Bryant, before he passed, he talked about it. Like,
pro wrestlers, combats, like you see all the time in the world of MMA, dudes will retire at 35, 36 when they're clearly not who they used to be, but they come back because they don't have anything else to do, because they didn't go to college, or if they went to college just to wrestle, they don't have a business, they don't have a hobby, they've been fighting for the last 15 years, and their joints don't work, so they're not normal 38-year-olds, they're like 65-year-olds and 38-year-olds in a 30-year-old body, so, like, they just keep coming back to fight way past when they shouldn't, because they just don't know what else to do.
So, I restarted it.
Let's transition to tennis.
Yeah, I was just about to do that, actually.
Okay.
And so,
I was reading the text.
oh, my bad.
I was confused. Sorry.
But yeah, so Tevin, just kind of like, what are you thinking? Were there any experiences specifically, you know, that kind of not maybe define, but like, that was like, damn, like, this shit really happened to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, it maybe affected your mental health. You know, also want to talk about positives too. So, like, if you guys have positives as well, I think that's also good.
It's all bad. The world sucks.
Yeah,
Life sucks.
mental health, sports suck, bro.
We're
There was no
depressed.
good moments.
We're
You know?
anxious.
Yeah.
Or anxious.
I will say, kind of luckily, but almost similar to Tank, I wasn't at that level of people knew who I was. I could have been doing what I was doing, but it didn't matter. Like, nobody really knew who I was the way that they knew who you were, the way they knew who Luther were. So, going through high school for me, I think that was a little bit different. Now, there was a lot of pressure, I still think, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't the nigga with hella offers. Like, I wasn't the nigga, like, I wasn't super 30. I wasn't like one. I don't think I was like 100. You know what I'm saying? Like going into it, I already kind of got leeway outside of where we immediately were, like in the football. Cause like people, I can go to camps with you. People knew who you were because you did. Is it FBU?
Yeah.
FBU, things of that nature, right?
You and Troy.
I'm going to camps, and I'm just here. And then I go to school with this nigga. And like not even like but it's like really like we just go to school together. So like for me, I think I was lucky to. I don't think feel all of it the way that I did. I think I was dealing with more external things outside of sports in high school. I think it all really hit me in college. My experience is really like, I think for me it was like, and I really am still dealing with it. It's like more so that I feel like I quit, like for real. Like if I'm just keeping it like a buck, like I left the military, yes. For a lot of reasons, like it just wasn't a good time, right? Like there was other things I wanted to be closer to home, right? At UCO, I had ample opportunity, right? School's hard already for me. I like not already, right? I was academically there, just physically being in spaces like that all the time with how my mental health was, which I think was already kind of bad with the external things, like. School itself wasn't my thing. And I think that I never even continued to give myself that shot. So football had to come first and when I stopped. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I started actually at Air Force. I started journaling. I love music. I love listening to poetic type of folks. Expressing sort of the feelings. Because when I was at Air Force, I was down bad. I wasn't sleeping too much. A mix of like insomnia and like the military's not really letting you get much rest, right? Like, you know. So like that was already happening, and so like I'm just up with my thoughts. I'm over here now. Colorado was beautiful. I had a great time. I met some great people. That shit was not it. You know what I'm saying? So like I just had to literally sit and deal with it for like a whole year, like, and it definitely was something I was like, I think I was also looking for a reason to leave, right? I was about to get cut from the football team before I left, and I was trying to walk on to play soccer, and some things happened, and I was just like, you know. I'm just gonna go close to home, go play football at UCO. And so there it was like got in trouble with weed, couldn't play, because I got caught smoking weed, failed drug test, right? But that was how I was dealing with what I was dealing with, right? And I also didn't know how to express that. And so when it came down to it, I stood on, I'm gonna deal with my stuff, and if you're not gonna let me deal with it and still produce, because it wasn't like I wasn't doing what I need to do with the pads on right, I'm gonna just take myself. And so like for me, it's dealing with getting away from not doing what I really loved. I played 4 sports in high school, and really I played soccer longer than I played all of them, and I think football was tied so much to my name, I don't think I got to experience that the way that I really wanted to. Because I still played collegiate soccer, and I had a great time. You know what I'm saying? Like, very different too. And so for me, it got me, once I started writing, it got me into the habit of sort of poetry. I had to get into those, like, what are my escapes, right? What helps me sort of get out of it? Or writing was one of those, listening and diving into sort of instrumental music and like being outside was another thing. Because with...
You ever do grounding?
No, I never really knew what grounding was up until this year, if I'm being honest. Now, some could say I was unintentionally in ways, right? I would definitely sit, and I got pictures on my phone of just places out in Colorado on the mountains where I could just see over the city that I would just sit and write at, right? It was, that was my piece. That could be, right, grounding, right? So yeah, but that was sort of where I found my peace, and sort of getting out of that, sort of still trying to stay around sports. I still play a lot of indoor soccer. I still try to be a part of things, but sort of still like I'm the shoulda coulda woulda been uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a fact. Like it is a fact. I've had very high highs in high school. I had very high highs. I was great. But that expectation of what they wanted might not have really been my truth. And really dealing with that is what I think is big, and what I sort of really took away from a lot of these conversations. Just with mental health in general, because I think it is that expectation of what people wanted from me, that if I couldn't give it to them, what was I going to give them? Because it was really hard for me also to come back to UCL and be like, you left a D1 to go play at UCL, you were this, you were that, y'all was supposed to be Barry and Sterling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't do it. I really only got that offer because I got a damn high score on my ACT.
Okay, so since we went ahead and spout off Tank stuff, let's go ahead and talk Tevin. I can do the narrating for Tevin this time, man. So I'll be honest, I looked up to y'all, bro. And y'all, we the same age. Isn't that crazy?
You younger, bro.
I'm a little younger too. But man, when we think of sports in Oklahoma, the first numbers that came to mind was 1 in 26. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to you. And so like Tevin, like you've always been that deep individual. You've always been super confident. You've always had you've always walked around like your shit don't stink. Quite literally, like when I talked about how you dressed in high school was lame as hell, but you really did not give a fuck because you was that nigga and nobody cared. That's the craziest shit. It's like this dude walk in with a Nike shirt, some 2013
long ass jean shorts on,
not give a fuck. But because
a bunch of fashion knots, that was
in 2013, he's still back in 1994. Right, bro. Like he's still wearing FUBU. Like it's crazy stuff. But
this was positive
because
I thought you was giving it flowers.
I'm kidding.
He was supposed to give compliments. The nigga said, "Let me start with this nigga's trash ass outfits in high school."
No. But all that to say,
niggas wouldn't say nothing because they would be like, "Oh, that's
but you couldn't say. See, if Alham Carter was walking the halls like that, everybody would be on my ass. But because it was Tevin McDaniel, it was crazy. When I kid you not, bro, I be busting my ass in the gym, shooting after practice, going up, working out, doing all the thing. Tevin comes in, varsity, instantly. Then they was waiting for the football players. I'm like, damn, I busted my ass. You know, I was like, damn, I'm out here doing defensive drills. You know what I mean? Like, you tell me what I need to do. And Tevin, so like when we talk about how athletically gifted Tevin McDaniel is, this man has probably the most. Damn, he still is. He'll pull up to your pickup game right now.
We're gonna do a 5-man
and bust your ass. Downtown, wherever you need, at the hoop house. He gonna give you at least 7. 7. He going to NBA game right now. Probably hit you 2.
Get to how he was on the football field.
All that to say, absolutely great. He's got rings all 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. 2 years. He's got rings in soccer. He's got rings in basketball. So like all this to say is like when we thought he puts it off as like he's just that nigga, but no, really he's that nigga. He's that nigga. And so like all this to say, it's like when, and this kind of leads back to the athlete piece, right? The professional sports as well. Like once you start getting up in level, it's like when you're a kid, nobody gives a fuck what you're doing on the field. You know what I mean? If you out here making any points, you cold.
Yeah.
Then you step up a little bit, and maybe you're the most athletic nigga, like you're a Tank, or you're a Luther, or you're a Tevin, and everybody's just sort of like serenading you. But oh my gosh, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be the next Barry. You're gonna be the next Sterling. You're gonna be the next. And then you get up a next level, and this is the first time I think professional athletes hear KYP, know your place. This is the first time they say, hey bro, everybody here was the best in high school. So where are you now? I need you to be linebacker for scout team, whatever. I need you to be. Air Force ran the goofiest set, offensive set in the country, and Tevin was playing fullback.
Yeah, that was trash.
He did not block in high school. He was the nigga we threw screens to and insert quarterback here. Didn't matter who it was. They was all kind of mid. He throws a screen and he goes for 80 yards.
Did all of our high school quarterbacks just catch a stray?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. All of them.
It is insane.
We was talking about 1 in 26.
All right.
We was talking about 1 in 26.
Okay, man.
80-yard screens. So all that to say,
Shout out to O-line.
Shout out to O-line too. Luther, Aurelius,
B-Brig.
B-Brig,
Jack Ross.
Jack Ross.
Brandon Goodfeller.
I'm missing
And
one.
Matthew Price.
There you go. B. Briggs.
Anyways, all that to say,
Fucking me, nigga.
I just wanted to give him his props as well. I didn't do that great of a job, but Tevin really was that nigga in high school.
We're gonna put
Throughout his
we're
whole
gonna
life.
link the highlights in the
Hey,
We got the huddles. We got the huddles.
Both
still.
huddles.
a link to the
Both
huddles.
huddles.
Tell us who was better. But hey,
question?
no, it's not. This one be mental health. Sorry. We're not doing
Don't tell us
They're
who's better.
destroying it.
But in high school, they were literally called TNT. Like that was the nickname. Tank and Tevin and Tank. Like TNT for real, because like they was the bomb. But they was only that because of the O-line.
Shout out to the O-line. Shout out to the
Big
blockers
shouts.
that make it happen.
That's
You
the
know what I'm
Marco
saying?
Murray and the Cowboys.
Alright. So, I think I get a good introduction here because I did also mention how like music sort of helped me get out of sort of a lot of ruts that I was in, helped me sort of open up areas of creativity that I have found out that I have, and sort of talking about how at the top of like any game, right? We were talking about sports and athletes, right? But all of us went to school with some wealthy people, right? With high school with wealthy people to an extent. I'll say Santa Fe at least has some.
Yeah.
We know what it looks like for folks who that like they got all the money in the world.
Yeah.
They was dealing with shit too.
The real other side.
And I think it's important to also think about how in the music industry, sometimes how frowned upon it is, right? And I can even say for myself, right? But also like how freeing it can be for some of those artists. We have some listed down. Kendrick's obviously my favorite, so I'll just start with him. Thinking about just this recent album, and sort of thinking about how he dove into multiple dialogues with battles that he was fighting personally in a way that we could eat it, we could take it, we could understand it, that he was really going through things, that he was on hiatus and sort of like what we were talking about with athletes not wanting to play. I don't think that it wasn't that he didn't want to drop music. I think it was very much he was dealing with, and he says that in his album, he was dealing with things. And I think it's important that we sort of look at all of those sort of examples and artists in general. Like, they all have real lives. We even look at the songs where they're expressing their ways in violent manners, right? I think of TDE. I listen to a lot of Schoolboy Q, J-Rock. Those be real events that they rapping about. You know what I'm saying? Like those aren't good battle rap. These aren't just like easy lives to live and like now that you have money you're supposed to be happy. That's not how that works. They still have trauma that real niggas don't need therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going through.
Money don't
Sorry,
bring my
shout
dead
out
homies back.
shout out to Kendrick. That was a little quote from his song, but it's like we literally live in a world where it's like we make it seem that folks don't need therapy, that we don't need to express our emotions, but we should just bottle it in and act like everything's okay. And so Kendrick's my favorite, so that's what I want to talk about. I know you love Raw Wave, who's very much a expressive in his feelings type of artist. Not in a bad way, I'm just saying.
Shout out Rod
But like,
Wave.
if anybody else wants to talk about some of the other artists that we had in mind.
I want to
Shout out Rod Wave. We was just at his concert, so we got to see firsthand just how he was on that. He was on that
How
tip.
long were y'all there for?
We was in there.
At least half of Broadway's set.
At least 10 minutes.
At least half of Broadway's
Yeah,
set.
we was in there for an hour at least.
They said we saw Ari Lennox. We're good. Anyways,
You see the shirt? You see the shirt? Got the Shea Butter Baby shirt. Shout out Ari Lennox. You
Shout
killed
out
it,
Ari
baby.
they was talking about Ari so much. They're like, yeah, how was the Ari concert? And we're like, dang, she only sang 6. He sang his whole set. Anyways, all that to say, I wanted to talk about Reason.
Yeah, we got the reason
I
too.
wanted to get into
Rod
Reason.
Wave.
And so we talked about, you know,
Did he say fuck?
He didn't hear me.
so I know we
Tank
talked
the
about
real Rod Wave fan.
Yeah, no,
You get Rod Wave.
his whole family loves
Shout,
Rod
hey,
Wave.
shout out Cozy.
Shout out Cozy.
That's a real Rod Wave fan right there.
Anyways,
I don't know about that.
I don't know who that is. Yeah,
Quincy.
Reason, I lost where I was going with that. But yeah, Reason is almost kind of like if you listen to the song Gang Shit, literally he's talking about how folks are trying to portray him as something that he's not. And the pressures of just fans, selling albums, of other rappers, forces him to become something that he's not.
Mm.
And I thought that was one of the most beautiful songs I had ever listened to. And I listened to Gang Shit because I knew this was on our agenda tonight to talk about this.
Let me tell you something. You was my cousin brother. I love you. Was never at odds.
This is actually on my top listen. This is my album number 3. Number 2 is LMA, which kind of pissed me off. I was like, I ain't really not been listening to LMA like that.
24 hours had you on repeat, huh?
Probably it's on your playlist or something, and you played a lot, probably.
So there's a playlist that starts with one of her songs. I hate when it does that shit. When you plug the car in, plug it into the car.
And it just starts playing.
Reason's my number 4 listen to artist.
Shout out Reason, man.
Lauren
Number
Hill.
5.
David's number 2.
Who's David?
He's been a real Kendrick fan.
Dave, he a Dave.
This shit, that line right there is crazy. He rags on TDE, then turns around a few verses later and says that TDE gave him. But he also says he don't give a fuck about Kendrick Lamar.
I already been in my top 5.
Hey, listen to the song, guys. It's not about you, Kevin. It's about Reason. You already had your segment today. Reason. Yeah, I like this song.
This next one right here. Gang shit.
And you're never
I
gonna
felt
respond because
that.
you're scared.
I'm wondering where the gang went.
I felt that.
Y'all telling me it's gang shit.
I'm wondering where the gang went.
Is that up?
Yeah.
I don't know about shit.
You think you know.
Ignorance
Old
living.
man needs.
That's my number 1 play album.
Lord knows.
That's hard.
It's living off real.
That whole little verse right there is crazy. He says, ignorance living. I found my peace and forgiveness.
I swear, it's almost like niggas didn't listen to Reason's last album.
That's like, yeah, it's almost like niggas didn't listen to Reason's last album. Oh, fuck you, huh? I didn't listen to the last album. I'll listen to it now.
That nigga was on some shit in his last album.
New Beginnings, 2020.
He was on some shit in that album.
Let's go.
Anyways, Reason just talks about just kind of the pressures of life, and I think this also kind of, is related to basically how athletes are forced to basically like appease not only their team, the culture, the fans, etc., but like artists are forced to do that as well. And so I think that's just an amazing depiction of what that is. Like when he talks about gang shit, everybody says he needs to be talking about this gang shit, needs to be talking about robbing, stealing, and this whole album is dedicated to how he's feeling, right? And so Rod Wave does a similar thing, but he talks more about mental struggles, particularly suicide. And at the concert, he actually did discuss that, and he said, he's like, no, I'm not out here supporting suicide. That's not what I want this to be, but this is my story, and I'm hoping that somebody listens to my music and maybe finds a different path. And so I thought that was a really cool moment. And he talked about, like, the whole thing was nostalgia, right? So he went throughout his entire life. He went through every album and every phase of his life through his albums. And so to bring it back at the very end, he showed a video of where he was. And, it was talked about, him not committing suicide, but attempting. And then how he has, like, literally, now he's jumping on stages. He still gets nervous today. Every time he writes a track, he thinks, I may not have been here a while back. And so I just think that was just a beautiful message, particularly from, obviously, Reason and Porches. Porches is one of my favorite albums of 2023, and then Rod Wave's Nostalgia was very good as well.
Big facts.
So Kendrick, Reason, Rod Wave. What other artists be discussing? Mental health, getting into it.
Megan Thee Stallion.
I had a curveball if y'all want one.
Yeah, totally.
Curveball.
There are two. I think I'm the deepest battle rap head on the pod, and there are two battle rappers in particular who are very, very. Tevin's he's a casual. He's more than a casual. But there are two battle rappers in general, or in particular, B. Dot and Emerson Kennedy, who are very, very, very consistent with talking about their mental health struggles in their bars, making rounds out of it. And like, B. Dot has a child on the spectrum, and his baby mom is abusive. So he is a black man that's a single parent raising a daughter on the spectrum that has a baby mother that was in rehab at one point because she was abusing drugs. And he was talking about how he had to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to do. Like, his famous is Third Round. He's talking about how the hell am I supposed to do this? There's no guide on how I'm supposed to keep my life together while keeping her life together when I didn't even realize it was about to just be me because her mother is just not here right now. And it's like most of the time you go to battle rap, you hear them talk about all kind of violent, way opposite stuff like that. And it's real refreshing to see these dudes that are in this light of, I'm not emotional, I'm not this, I'm this, that, and the third, but no, I'm a normal guy out here just like you. And it relates a lot to me because I am not anything close related to anything of the thuggetry, as they would call it. But I thoroughly enjoy listening to how well put together these raps are. So battle rap, just the wordplay and the intricacy of it appeals to me. And there are two dudes like me that aren't, B. Dot is a blood, but Emerson Kennedy is not gang affiliated, related, none of his homies, nothing like that. He's just a guy that likes battle rap, so he started doing it, and he talks a lot about his depression, how his mental health struggles, how he's a mixed kid growing up in Utah that was too black for white kids and too white for black kids. And I'm not mixed, but I grew up in South Carolina for 10 years, and I know what it's like to be too black for the white kids and definitely too white for the black kids. I've definitely heard and y'all being a Heritage Hall, I'm sure if you went around to the hood to see your family and shit, or friends, whatever, they'd be like, oh, you talk white. I'm sure y'all have heard that before, you talk white. Mm-hmm. Because I'm saying words how they're supposed to be said. And that just blew me, because I'm like, because I said I'm going to ask a question, not ask a question, I'm not black, that's crazy. And Emerson Kennedy has bars about how, like, he's too white to be black and too black to be white, and he's literally biracial, so it's like he didn't know where he fit in at. And then his outlet was journaling, turned that into battle rap, and now he's here. So it's like, it's good to see people talk about mental health and just how it can relate to me, because I was like, I felt that just too white to be black shit. I definitely felt that. Definitely felt that shit.
I wanna shout out Absol, just like as somebody I've listened to him for a long time.
Thank you for sharing, Taylor.
Thank you.
Great examples.
I do just want to Absol lost both his kid and his wife. I can't remember to what. Absol also has a disease himself that like turns his lips black. That's why he's called the Black Lip Bastard. But like there was a lot of things that he raps about in his songs. But in this last album, and it was interesting that he like even this whole album was really talking about his battle with mental health. One of the bars is, I even try suicide and I don't know why. I know better than most that the soul don't die. Took a leap, shattered my leg and lost some teeth, and I'm still standing behind every word I speak. So it's like, this is somebody who like, for me, watching like, understanding his story, listening to it then, and him talking about it then, it's still messing with him because of Mac Miller's death. He talks about Mac a lot in this album. And it's just like, it's good how they can put it in their music and still talk about it in a way where it's very blatant, it's very open, it's very like, yes, he tried to do these things, but these things are real feelings, these are real problems, these are real issues that I'm dealing with. I lost my best friend. My family is gone. Like, there's real battles that, like, again, and I said this at the beginning, regardless of the status you have, regardless of the money you have, people expect you to be doing these things and act as if your life is a second. Like, we need you to do what you need to do for us. Fuck your life. We need you to produce what you're supposed to be good at, is what we give off to those folks at the status or wherever they're at, right? Because we want to see that. We want to be entertained. They gotta battle that and still put out those things that we're like, we consume and we eat up, but are we really still taking time out to understand that these people are still really battling with these things? And how do we, like, and you know, how can we, right, at this level? But like, what is it that we can do? Like, how is it as a group? Is it, you know, us talking to each other as groups to make sure that the people next to us continue to be better, right? Is it bigger things? But it really is like, how can we really normalize a better understanding of how to express yourself to where you don't have to get to that point?
I think it starts with baby steps of niggas like us not even trying to be on something that sounds cocky or arrogant or anything, but it's like, we're not anybody you can't meet going somewhere in your regular life. We're just regular dudes. And it's just 5 regular black men being honest and open. And we talk, like, I vividly remember a conversation in Tank's front yard. Me, Tank, and either Santana or Tevin, and talking about how we're doing in life. So like we talk about this. Aurelius and Tevin, I know I talk to them all the time when they're traveling and stuff, and I make sure we all tell each other we love each other. Like, this is not just stuff we do for the camera, but it's good that we're doing it in front of the camera to show that this can be normal. And I think that's the first step, just seeing people that we're not athletes, we're not some unattainable level of fame, we're just regular old people showing you that regular people can do this and should do this. It'll make you feel better. So I think that's a good baby steps to take.
I think I look at it like when I listen to music, I look at it more in a grander perspective of like, okay, what is this artist trying to like capture, and what picture is being painted, and I think it ties deeply to mental health in the sense that, like, mental health is, in a sense, like it's a full enclosure of like it encapsulates everything. Like everything it stems from a certain thing, and like my battles with it was I always looked at it as it's like lightning in a bottle in a sense, to where no matter where it stems from, it's either people or maybe the perspective is, oh no, look at that, we want to touch it. It's the pedestal, it's put up high, or the bottle cap was open and lightning strikes. And it's like no matter what the story is, whether it's a loss or it's a internal battle of being at the highest of the highs, and it's all these different viewpoints on it, it still comes from like whatever that thing is special. Was the bottle open or was it closed? And I think that just, for me, that was a good way of just like summing it up and making it more of an easier task to deal with on the day-to-day basis. Like, oh no, maybe my time, maybe it's just I gotta wait a little bit. My bottle finna open, my lightning finna strike. You know, and facing it on the other ends of the more traumatic physical things that we can see and have to deal with, of losing somebody or something not going well with a job or something like that. That's when it strikes. But knowing that it strikes, I can be what's the name. No matter the situation, I can still be the what's the name. I can still be the lightning bolt that shines. That's doing what it's supposed to be, doing what it's supposed to do. And just the different examples from fighters to musicians. I know painters deal with it, writers. Like there's a whole strike, their whole career, all of them. The highest of the high, the lowest of the low, all of it stopped. And it just affects everybody.
Y'all got anything?
Nope, on that note, close it out. Whoever's closing it out. That's fire.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed a little mental dive. Our states of mind with the guys on the pod, the fellas. Hopefully you guys learn some things and take some things away, incorporate it with your people, your families, friends, all loved ones, and
check on your strong friends.
check on them.
Check in on your.
We all in this together. Just remember that.
Shout out High School Musical.
Well, that's another episode from the 5 from the 4. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Oh, don't forget. Hey, drop a what's the name? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Who you messing with on the highlights? We're gonna drop them in the link.
Yeah, no, for real.
We're gonna see. We putting them out there. Show the boys some love. You know.
Comment.
Let's tear down our mental health that we were just talking about. Yeah, man. Anyways, if you don't know, now you know. We love y'all, man. We'll see you next week.
Coming at you live from the 405. It's the 5 from the 4 podcast. Featuring 5 unironically unique voices in the podcast game of music, sports, and the culture.